I've been asked to introduce today's talk. In all the planning, we had a lot of discussions about how we seem to be in a period of extraordinary change. And was this unusual? Was this just humanity is always in a state of change and progress? Or is there something major going on here? Dare we say a revolution? And being interested in history, John and Pip thought I could sort of maybe tease out a few interesting pre-thoughts. So, revolutions in human progress. There's been two major ones. The agricultural one, when we went from nomads to settling down with domesticated animals and crops in fields. And then the second one, the Industrial Revolution, where we went from largely being from rural communities to urbanised, and with very different relationships with our work and employment. And I suppose in those periods of change, there were a lot of very fundamental changes in the way that we as humans and as a society interacted with each other. There were changes with families, how many children, what the role of those children were, what were the role of men and women in the production of food or products in factories. There were changes in the relationship between us and those around us, those in power, the hierarchy above the individual. There were changes in the way that wealth was created and our relationship with work. So I suppose that's the benchmark we've got to measure it by. What's happening now, and is that comparable with those great shifts in society? So I'm Chief Executive of Signpost. We're a youth, for those of you who don't know us, half of the room actually are us. But for those of you who don't know us, we're a youth counselling charity. We serve the local area of Watford and Hemel Hempstead and see young people and help them work through the difficulties they experience in their lives. And I think, let's look for some nods. I think it's true to say that in the last few years we're seeing different problems coming into the counselling room. Would people agree with that? There's a few nods. Okay, that'll do for me. So, I think the young people we're seeing now, they're going to be the true judges of whether this is a revolution. But for us as practitioners serving those young people, we have to adapt and address the challenges, the changes that we're seeing in the counselling room present to us. It's very timely that Google has just got busted for sharing a load of personal data. Our relationship with ourselves and how we portray ourselves to the world around us is changing. The debate is not so much should Google be able to, Facebook, should Facebook be able to share that data, but more, it's our data. We should be allowed to sell it. And that is just one element of what seems to be going on. We've got driverless cars, we've got artificial intelligence on the horizon. I don't know if any of you watch the programme Black Mirror. Got it right. Only seen it once. But it's a dystopian future view of the world in which people are able to download their memories and their personalities and then put their other person, their copy, to work. A slave, if you like, that makes sure the coffee percolator's on at the right time in the morning, that manages your calendar. They're a sort of virtual slave. I hope I've described that right. Would you say that's fair? But this is the sort of thinking that is going on and is being stimulated by the change that's going on around us. And that is playing out in young people's lives, this sort of challenge on who we are and how we portray ourselves. It's not only the Kardashians who can do a ham-fisted Photoshop of their selfie. Every teenager in their bedroom can. And it goes further than that. That a teenager in their bedroom can portray themselves in a way that suits them, but may not be true to how they really feel in themselves as to who they are and what they're about. They can put up a photo there that makes them look at their best. They can put information out there that will, they hope, impress, and yet they can be in their bedroom feeling vulnerable and alone. And it can go even further. That's challenge on self and identity. A girl can share an intimate photo with somebody they trust and find out they can't trust them, and it can be round school in a day. Now, what does that say about the relationship between who we are physically and who we are digitally, or can we? In Japan, there are young people who've got a name now. Otaku, I believe they're called. Young people who, because they can get everything they need from Amazon, Ocado, pizza takeaway, they can sit in their bedrooms and they can play games, they can interact with people all over the world. They can even have a consensual sexual interaction with somebody through the internet. They don't need to leave their bedrooms. In one case I read in the papers recently, there was a lad who nobody realised he died for something like a week and a half because his whole existence was out there on the internet. So if a revolution is a time of great technological change which redefines relationships, human relationships, then I think we probably are in one. The last two big revolutions I referred to, the agricultural and the industrial. The agricultural one was a change of location. Our relationship with location had changed. Our location wasn't where the rains took us or the herds took us. It was where the crops were, and we became static. In the Industrial Revolution, we had a change in our relationship to time. When the railways started in this country, they had a big conundrum. The time in London is 10 minutes ahead of the time in Bristol in those days, because time was measured by when the sun rose, and the sun rises for different people in different places at different times. So when the railways came along and you had to do timetables, well, you've got to have some standardised time. Now, you'd think that was straightforward. We now live in standardised time, and it's normal for us. But for them, they had to design clocks that had 2-minute hands. 1 minute hand was for local time, and 1 minute hand was for train time, London time. Now, if you think back to those people in the 1840s dealing with that concept of somebody's on a train, travelling to Bristol, they've got their watch set to London time, they're travelling, they are moving, and they're arriving in Bristol at a different time, having had a very speedy rate of travel, and now they're at a different time. Now, in those days, that would have been a bit mind-blowing. Of course, now we don't think twice about it. So what is the change that we're looking at with this revolution? I don't know what it would be called or what you can define it as, but maybe it's a revolution of identity. Maybe it's a revolution of what self is. And we've got an interesting array of speakers today who will touch on this theme of who we are, in particular young people, who young people are, and how the digital world impacts them in terms of their relationship with the other sex through online porn, through the relationship, as I think Alice will be talking about, of their online persona and their private persona, of their relationship with abuse. I talked about the girl sharing intimate images and that going around. One of our speakers is going to explore that. And what I hope will come out of today is that the time of change, a revolution, it's frightening, but it's not all bad. There are opportunities there. And so we have some speakers who will be talking about the opportunities that present themselves, how this technology can be cleverly adapted to meet our needs better. So we've got Kathy from 38 Degrees here, online campaigning organisation, about how this technology can be used to change the world for the better. And We've got Pippa here, who's going to share with us how technology can be used to connecting people when they're in communities that they're newcomers to. Also, in a shameless plug, there's always good in everything. We've also got here Anna and Louise, who run an online marketing firm for gifts and products for young people, and they have made Signpost their source of donations, their destination for donations for their corporate social responsibility. So whilst we move from the pennies going into the collection pot on the counter of a shop, we move into a new dimension where entrepreneurial spirit is helping to support the services that young people need. So just like to encourage you to have a look at their stall. Lots of lovely gifts for those teenagers that you never know what to buy. So moving on, I hope today will be interesting, stimulating, and give some new insights into how we as professionals can work with young people in particular, but people generally, and help them to face the challenges that the changing world, the fast-changing world we live in, presents them.